Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Hey everyone, Garrett here. So what you're about to see is a very impromptu talk between Kyle and I about the recent HGC and Heroes of the Storm announcement. So what happened was we had literally just finished recording the most recent episode of Into the Nexus when that announcement went live. So I'm about to hit next scene. You're going to see the talk happen in real time. It's completely unscripted. We had no idea this announcement was coming, so it's not as polished as one of our more well-informed conversations that you're probably used to on the podcast. So that's why I'm sitting with the lights off, no green screen on. You can see my floor and my floorboards. It looks a little weird. Anyways, here it is, our talk about the HGC announcement. Major Heroes of the Storm news breaks. So a post has gone up on Blizzard's official website, and I don't know how else to even get into this without just reading it in full. Also, because my brain is still trying to process it because it literally just came out. So, post titled "Heroes of the Storm News ... just went up." So that already is ominous. Like the title doesn't tell you jack about what's happening, and it reads: "We're constantly changing and evolving not only our games, but how we support and grow them. This evolution is vital to our ability to continue doing what we love to do, making great games. And it's what makes Blizzard, Blizzard. Over the past several years, the work of evaluating our development processes and making hard decisions has led to new games and other products that we're proud of. We now have more live games and unannounced products than at any point in the company's history. We're also at a point where we need to take some of our talented developers and bring their skills to other projects. As a result, we've made the difficult decision to shift some developers from Heroes of the Storm to other teams, and we're excited to see the passion, knowledge, and experience that they'll bring to those projects. This isn't the first time we've had to make tough choices like this. Games like Diablo 2, World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, Overwatch, and more would not exist had we not made similar decisions in the past. Despite the change, Heroes of the Storm remains our love letter to Blizzard's worlds and characters. We'll continue actively supporting the game with new heroes, themed events, and other content that our community loves, though the cadence will change. Ultimately, we're setting up the game for long-term sustainability. We're so grateful for the support the community has shown from the beginning, and the development team will continue to support Heroes with the same passion, dedication, and creativity that has made the game such a unique experience. We've also evaluated our plans around Heroes esports. After looking at all of our priorities and options in light of the change within the game, the Heroes Global Championship and Heroes of the Dorm will not return in 2019. This was another very difficult decision for us to make. The love that the community has for these programs is deeply felt by everyone who works on them, but we ultimately feel this is the right decision versus moving forward in a way that would not meet the standards that players and fans have come to expect. While we don't make these decisions lightly, we do look to the future, excited about what the decisions will mean for our live games and all the projects we have in the works. We appreciate all of our hardworking developers and everyone in the Blizzard community. Look forward to sharing many more epic gaming experiences with you in the future. Jalen Brack and Ray Gresco." Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
bombshell.
That is bombshell, and some of the most soulless CEO speak I've ever seen come out of this company.
Worth saying that it is this is December 13th, and it is a Thursday Heroes of the Storm news. Not the Friday the 21st you would expect from major corporations for true bummer news. Not the Friday the 14th. They are squeezing this out now, so there is some sort of perhaps pressure, response. The noise has become so loud from those players. Concern for them getting new jobs in other esports, I guess, has come to rise. I mean, let's break this down topic by topic because it's a lot to take in at one time.
Yeah, so developers are being taken off Heroes of the Storm and shifted to other teams.
Yep, so understandable. We have fabulous artists and people. I mean, look at the influence of someone like Oscar on the team. His art alone has inspired a ton of the skins and sprays that have fueled the development. So certainly for us fans, it depends a lot as to who these people are. Some of these people came in 2 years late, but became the new soul and inspired creativity. The fandom that this game made. They say this is the love letter to, Blizzard and, the live action BlizzCon, as they've sort of said in the past. But without all that noise that makes it, teddy bear stitches just coming out, like, right? That, like, those are the things that make this game so fun in spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one thing. Like, that's not the most concerning thing to me. I mean, we knew things like New Heroes and whatnot, they'd already slowed down, right? Like, it was getting to the point where New Heroes was going to slow significantly and already has. So that's not the most concerning thing in the world. But
we will continue to actively support the game with new heroes, themed events, and other content that our community loves, though the cadence will change.
Right. The question, the big concern here is how much, because the cadence has already changed. New Heroes have already slowed down. I don't know. I'll tell you what for whatever reason, the thing that scares me the most here is the phrase setting up the game for long-term sustainability. That is corporate and so plain oatmeal.
That's so spooky. That is the Toy Story shelf where the penguin's up there crying and Woody's scared out of his mind.
Yes. Yeah, that's what that there is no warmth to that statement. So that's, yeah, this is, man, dude, what is going on at Blizzard?
I mean, there's clearly, there's a lot of restructuring. I think there's a lot of things that growing pains have led to, that there is games need to be made. I think is really what it comes down to. You can't spend 12 years making another StarCraft in today's market. And we have to keep the ball rolling, and that means moving developers around. But games have turned into a service, and it is very easy to leave those developers developing the same games over and over. But you got some of the best, and you got to move them around. That's why I bring up someone like Oscar. Like, there is art that is inspiring the soul of what has made Heroes fans eat this game up, and that's really spooky to think about losing those. And like, oh man, cadence! Like, what a word. What a word to use. That is also extremely scary, because the cadence will change. That could easily be that these are going to be repeat events. Nexomania is back each year. That Suns Out, Guns Out, we have a 2-year rotation. That they're not new. That the new heroes are not just reskin. Like, what? There's so much open there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, this is concerning. This is, to me, another in a long line of horrible communications from Blizzard as of late across multiple games, not just Heroes. Now this is getting a little bit more into the HGC announcement here, and that it is dead. And I guess I'll preface this with, I'm probably having a bit more of an emotional reaction as someone who has defended Blizzard over the past few weeks while the Red has been on fire. And to that I say, after weeks of saying, y'all are freaking out, Blizzard doesn't deserve this, apparently they did, because this is unacceptable to wait this long to tell this many people they're out of a job. Y'all just, oh my God, they just poured gasoline on an oil spill.
Does it destroy a BlizzCon to come out and say, get ready for your final HGC finals? And then everyone goes, what? Wait, what'd they say? What are we watching? I guess I should tune in. This was just posted on the HGC website, by the way. It has been an incredible journey for the HGC. We are eternally grateful to everyone who has touched the program. This was a tough decision for all of us, but one that we agree is the right decision in light of the change with the game and our desire to only deliver the best competitive experience with all of our esports programs. The HGC has been proud to claim some of the most skilled players, entertaining casters, hardworking crew, professional teams, and dedicated staff in the business. And we can't wait to see what this explosion of talent into the wild esports ecosystem will produce. To the HGC supporters, thank you. Thank you for every piece of feedback you provided. HGC cheer, you cheered, and most of all, every ounce of passion. We felt it every day, back at the office, along with you, at each and every live event. The HGC could not have happened without you. That's a bit more passionate. It's a bit more alive.
Yeah, who wrote that?
This was by the Heroes Esports team.
Okay, so not signed by anyone in specific. Yeah, okay, so there's that, yeah.
So something really fascinating about this statement is our desire to only deliver the best competitive experience with all of our esports programs. That's a fascinating statement.
Yeah, because we already know the Gold League is happening in China. They've already announced that.
Yes.
So unless that's getting canceled too. So it sounds like there will still be Heroes Esports to some degree, but not like HGC. It almost sounds like there's, to me, my brain goes to, all right, so if it still exists, what does it look like? If we start to get into disparate leagues, it starts to look like early days of StarCraft 2. Which is
right, that you could be a wild freelance esports player and maybe get enough tournaments in a year to make a buck.
Right, well, except this is team-based, so you can't, there's still that to keep in mind. But
yes, true.
It's not necessarily a bad thing in my mind. It's just that I liked HGC, and I thought they did a very good job with it.
It was an extremely supportive program. The retainer pay was an amazing feature that kept those players active, but it didn't support esports outside of it. We can look at this hopeful and say, this is now, as they say, a lot of talented esports people released onto the world. Will they make their own Heroes content? There's a part of this statement that I can also read in a way that says we could not answer the fundamental question of how to make a team-based MOBA that could be fun at home and an esport. And we talked about that a lot recently, that our desire for fun at home combats directly with pros' willingness to be bored and safe soak.
Yeah. Boy, this is a lot to take in.
It is, and certainly a massive addendum to the conversation we just had not an hour ago on Into the Nexus. Reading Kyle's quote and saying that things might start up in February and that things seem a little hopeful on the horizon. And they could be. This is just HGC, the Heroes Global Cup, leading to BlizzCon in a structured environment with play just about every weekend. There still can be invite-only tournaments at BlizzCon. There can still be tournaments that turn into a BlizzCon final. Points awarded along the way throughout multiple things like we saw in earlier StarCraft.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is this this doesn't talk about, this doesn't give much room for hope. This doesn't give much room. There's nothing here saying what is happening, like what you can look forward to. No, I mean, Jay Howe's in our chat room saying there's no esports coming from Blizzard for Heroes in 2019. Not just the league is gone, but all of esports. Lord,
that's something.
What are we using? Oh crap, we're using Zoom. This isn't easy. I was gonna say, Jay Howe, if you're available, we'll just pull you in.
We can jump over to Skype as well. We can call him in.
Yeah, we can do that if you want to join us here, dude. So we're not doing the chat back and forth. That is that's crazy. Obviously, this is off the cuff. I'll clean this up and post a little bit for the audio version.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're reading through your comments right now.
Yeah, let's just hang with the chat for a second. But yeah. J-House says, I'm on my laptop on my honeymoon sitting in my hotel room. Holy crap, dude.
God.
What a day. What a day for you. Oh, Jesus.
Damn, man.
Congratulations. Didn't know you were on your honeymoon. Oh my.
I mean, it's true though. Congratulations, man. No, seriously. That's pretty funny.
That is that's a 180 in my feelings. I'm very happy for Jay Howe and very sad for Heroes.
Well, yeah, let me I believe I have mod status in here. Allow me to post some links to y'all. so you guys can have this
Yeah.
in the chat.
So it's just the Wild West now for Heroes Esports because it's not going to be Blizzard supported.
Correct. It's such a bizarre, like StarCraft slowly grew into something supported through like a point system that was a little convoluted, but eventually made sense and we could return to that. It's just so strange to do it backwards. And yeah, as we mentioned, the pulling of developers is really frightening. They've said that there are going to be new heroes and the events you love, but the cadence will change. And that's where it's a rather spooky and sounds like we could get a lot of recycled content events after so much passion.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that wouldn't bum me out too much. I've kind of expected the events to replay as is, and they haven't, which has been cool to see, but that's not the biggest concern here. I mean, the biggest concern here is just how much of an unknown there is. This announcement doesn't announce anything coming. It just announces things going away.
Yeah.
And that's that's just, there's no way not to be bummed out about this. This is hard to take in.
It is. Stunning is a good way to put it. And it's very different without, it's very different if you just take the HGC announcement, then you go, oh, okay. So let's talk about HGC by itself. You can say, okay, the translation from esports to monetization from viewer to gamer wasn't happening. And as a business decision, HGC was a leak and they decided to plug it. To have it at the same time as taking away what has been a lifeline for the game, new heroes and content in that way. Even things like getting balance for pro scene has been a lifeline, because you mess with our Genji, we stopped playing Genji at home. They drafted, Maiev. Does Maiev get buffs? She's fine. Does Hanzo receive a ton of buffs? Now that we don't have to worry about pro play, we have experts who have been designing this game and balancing this game for a long time. Are they out? Are they replaced by somebody? Is Heroes now perhaps a training ground? How do they know the history that we've been through?
I don't know. So the way my brain is just compartmentalizing this right now is just from a strategy standpoint and how it is going to affect the community, which is just bad all the way around. That's where my head is at. Like, there's so many questions that the reaction is going to be bad. It's going to be negative. There's going to be more. There's already been an insane amount of doomsaying around HGC and the game itself, and this is just going to fuel that to a level I think we've never seen before, because it doesn't answer any questions. All there are concerns. Again, it comes back down to that cadence. If they could have hit us with anything, like a ballpark figure for what new hero releases is going to slow down to, we could know how concerned to be. But they don't give us that, so we're all going to lose our minds. And the top voted things on the Reddit for the next God knows how long now is going to be about how dead this game is.
Yeah, and that is such a tough perception. I mean, look at what you're seeing with World of Warcraft and the boat that doesn't float. And you gotta kind of feel like that about the boosts. There's a lot of people who just invested a year into this game, and you got to put a sale date. Even if you pre-order World of Warcraft right now, or Warcraft 3, it says that it comes out the final day of 2019 is the listed release date. But we know it comes out sometime in the summer. Legally, you got to put a date on that release. At least say it's going to come out sometime. So is now we're in a free-to-play space. It's a little different. Boosts, though, we got to have a date as to and expect that next hero. It's a lifeline. That's what brings people back. A lot of the reasons we have so much pressure for HGC on these experience changes and everything else is because we like the new shinies, and that's what kept you returning to the game before. Now we have to talk about other things. We have to find those enjoyments through balance instead of Orthea, who was a month and a half, and now we're getting into month 2 sort of thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll see if there's any more announcements coming out of this. Hopefully, some words from the development team themselves. Because, boy, again, the strategy of all of this, like this makes it seem so malicious. That it's a sign from the new CEO that replaced Mike Morhaime after weeks of silence and Reddit doomsaying. Like, you can't defend this. I don't know what to say.
Totally. And like we said, the hero link once again for everyone showing up in the chat. And these are very wide decisions. And I don't think we can target anyone in particular. The HGC one is a lot more personal.
Yeah.
So let's talk frankly for a moment, because I'm seeing a lot of the conversation. This was a lot of everyone's first MOBAs, and I'm really, if we're just gonna drop the tomb in the grave. This was a lot of people's first MOBA. I really, really enjoyed getting to have so many of my friends play a MOBA. I hope Heroes continues. And we're going to need reassurance as to what that's going to look like going into next year. If you are all Dota curious after this and Heroes does fail in that way, in such a strong way, know that I will be there because that's where I'm from. And Heroes became the superior product. And if it is no longer, then we will make those changes. I will. That is really forward talking. We're definitely going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to be really patient about this. And that's going to be tough over the holidays.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say other than what I've already said.
Yeah, and I mean I've got a lot of passion for MOBAs. It's my favorite game genre. We will see what happens. And you're right, shorter games. There's a lot. And we're going to be patient about this on ITN.
Yeah. I mean, we said it on the proper episode we recorded earlier, or at least I brought it up, that Into the Nexus was always first and foremost about playing the game and less about watching it. Like, we very rarely even talked about esports. So as long as the game is still playable, there is still a show. If it gets to extremely long lengths of time without changes to the game, that's when it becomes a concern for Into the Nexus.
Right, because this is a news-propelled show. It is a show about change and the game itself. There could be stale metas ahead that last too long, and we give it a shot. Like I say, this is not a decision that is going to be made overnight. And certainly if you are supporting this show, if you are a patron, we ask you to be patient as well, because we simply we don't know.
I mean, obviously we're scared, right? I mean, we just went through this last Christmas when Patreon announced, we're changing how we're charging everybody, and we lost like a third of our patrons. So obviously that's concerning. So there's going to be a bit of a bias there. But
the game is still the same as it was yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing at the end of the day, it's a game I really enjoy. So until the game itself, the product that I log into and play, doesn't feel right, I'm still going to keep playing it. But
and let's actually address some comments in the chat. We're really strong one here from Roper, and not wrong. Roper 26 says this is the same feel as the content creators did when Paragon died. And I was there. I was playing Paragon. I wasn't a streamer for it or anything like that, but I was there, and that was unprecedented what happened there. That was a full everybody out of the pool moment. Fortnite. The pool analogy doesn't really hold up because it was a golden turd. But everyone still wanted out of the pool, and they took that game completely down. Heroes isn't going down. It's not being turned off. It is being supported in the future. We just need to see what that support is like and to see if it's going to be entertaining, if it's going to be as joyous as we hope.
Yeah. I mean, that's my where my head is at. It's like I played the game more than I watched it. That's what I cared about at the end of the day. My anger and my concern here is with the silence and the lack of humanity in at least the first statement that we read, because of its effect on people's livelihood. I mean, that's not okay. And at least in the immediate, we're not the ones affected by that. I'm talking about the pro players and people working within Heroes Esports. They're out of a job now, and that's not okay. So we'll have to see how it develops. But we had to flick recording back on for this. I haven't actually made the post yet, so I think I'll just tack this on and then re-upload the MP3 and delete the old one off of the SoundCloud, but I'll figure that out. Anyways, Kyle, you're now leaving, so boy, next week's episode with Not Paradox is going to be very different from what I thought it was going to be.
Hopefully you guys will have a lot of news to discuss.
I hope so too, because if this is all we're left with, it's going to be interesting. I mean, there's still plenty of shit happening in the game to wrap our brains around, but boy.
People still got a place. There's still a game to play. We can go play it right now. It has not disappeared.
Yeah, they're not taking it down. It's not what they announced and not what I would expect. But a lot about the announcement is not what I would expect. So, anyways, oh my God, my Twitter feed is just a bunch of people saying "Rip Heroes."
And that is a very true thing. There are a lot of people in the world, despite people want to be on a winning team, I think is what it comes down to. People want to know they got the hottest relationship on the block, and they get jealous when other, friends have a hotter significant other. You want to be on the winning team. People change teams as a sports season goes on. A lot of that is fun. It's fun to be winning. It's fun to be part of the big crowd and have something to talk about when you end up randomly in a room full of people. Not everybody's playing your game. It's easy to have that perception. I am not a fan of dead game talk, but it is a very real and heavily impactful conversation that happens constantly around the internet, and it makes or breaks games. And that's sad to hear about your Twitter, because there will be a lot of exodus because of that perception.
Yeah. So anyways, also, I guess I'll just take this moment to be like, if you're within the sound of my voice and you worked at HGC, I would love to talk to you. So reach out to us, tweet at ITNcast. I would imagine we're going to have more guests on than usual, Kyle, because I would like to hear from other folks, their thoughts on all of this. So let us know. Anyways, I'm gonna kill the stream again. Kyle, are you still with me? You look like you froze. Kyle froze. All right. Yeah, he said it's gonna be a while. So I'm gonna wrap the stream up. Obviously, Kyle probably would have liked to have been here to say goodbye again, but thanks everyone for joining us here. Yeah, this is weird, but I'll be back next week, and see you with Not Paradox on Thursday next week. It's gonna be a hell of a show. See you then.